That comment caught me off guard. For those that remember, a few weeks ago, we had Bad Joey in the chat. We don't know that person. They haven't returned. They will forever be known as Bad Joey. We have a good Joey that we are forever apologizing to. And then we have Bad Joey, who tried to be mean and wasn't funny. And then I unfortunately spent way too much time telling him to fuck right off. But if you didn't know, I'm your host, Jason Miles, here for another episode of Beyond the Red Zone, our very own show dedicated to in-depth coverage of sports, or at least that's what we tell ourselves. One of those sound effects right there. For our returning listeners, subscribers, and especially our patrons, thank you so much for returning. You are the driving force behind the TIR machine. We couldn't do this without you. And for those new to the channel, welcome. If you do enjoy this type of programming, please hit like and subscribe. It is a passive gesture that goes a very long way towards promoting the channel. For fans of the main show, we will be back tomorrow with a double header. I'll be kicking off the opening show speaking with Matt Huber about the U.S. Imperial Project of resource plunder in Venezuela and why all the big, beautiful oil that Trump thinks comes out of the ground and right into your car isn't the gold mine he assumed it'd be. Then for show 2, we'll be speaking with union organizer Eric Blanc about why the left shouldn't be too excited about the current political victories and how you can help the fight against ICE wherever you are. Now, if you do appreciate all the diverse programming we provide here on TIR and you want to join us for our movie nights, which we did have last night, where we watched the 1988 very hard to find Nightmare on Elm Street knockoff classic Bad Dreams. Rare, obscure film starring Jennifer Rubin, who, coincidentally enough, the year before, in 1987, she was in Dream Warriors. But if you'd like to join us for these movie nights at Champagne Rooms, and you should become a paid YouTube subscriber or a patron, you'll get access to the Champagne Rooms movie nights, and you get the satisfaction of knowing that your small pledge is a large part of making sure this insanity can continue. Now, on to the show, where tonight we'll ask the question, should a pro player be able to play in college? If the current national champion Indiana Hoosiers have shown us anything, it's that 5-star recruits matter a lot less than experience and good old grown man strength. With 47 players on the roster between the ages of 22 and 25, Indiana ran the table of the Big Ten, long considered one of the toughest conferences in the country, and delivered the school its first national championship. Their quarterback is already being floated as the likely number 1 pick, or at the very least, the first quarterback off the board in the 2026 NFL draft, mirroring last year's top selection, Cam Ward. Ward, of course, went from a 0-star high school recruit to a multi-million-dollar professional after his final collegiate stop at Miami. Indiana's Fernando Mendoza followed a similar arc, starting his career at Cal Berkeley, putting up modest numbers on a below-average team, then transferring to Indiana, where he proved to be the perfect fit. The result? An undefeated season, a national title, and a strong chance he'll be holding up a Raiders jersey in April. You know that kid's going to get murdered there. All of this points to a broader shift in college sports. We're getting used to older rosters, serial transfers, and players openly announcing their commitment to stay. Eligibility is no longer a stable concept. It's negotiable, elastic, and increasingly political. For international athletes, this flexibility already exists. Players who competed professionally in their home countries or even logged time in the G League or NBA developmental systems are often allowed to return to college, boost their draft stock, and help programs win titles. That precedent now threatens to collide head-on with domestic eligibility rules. Enter one James Charles Bediako. Bediako played at Alabama from 2021 to 2023, went undrafted in the 2023 NBA draft, and bounced around the G League and NBA developmental system. Now Alabama believes he's a missing piece for another tournament run in 2026. And they brought him back. A judge has granted Bediako temporary eligibility, allowing him to rejoin the Crimson Tide while the NCAA scrambles to shut it down, arguing that his professional experience should permanently bar him from college competition. Tonight on This Is Revolution, or Beyond the Red Zone, sorry, we're digging into the Bediako case, why it matters, how it exposes the contradictions of NIL and the transfer portal, and whether this moment pushes college athletics into a strange alternate universe where rules are optional, eligibility is antiquated, and the NCAA's authority is little more than theater. To have this talk with me, please welcome AFC champion fan of the Patriots, my good friend, Mac.
That's right. It's our AFC champions, Patriots, so yeah, can we just give some snaps and roses to Jason, because whatever he did to Mrs. Darnold Saturday before the game, wow. Sam was on fire.
I barely got out of the bar I watched that game in with my life, because I definitely was shitting all over Los Angeles. I was like, if I can get any solace in this loss, it is that LA will not be victorious.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to see either team, because I mean, let's face it, this is going to be a rough game for the Patriots. I really believe so.
Oh God, yeah.
Like we were talking about before we went live, the Pats have been having issues moving the ball, really leaning on the defense. But if the Sam Darnold that played last week shows up in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a very long game. And honestly, Red, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, man. I am freezing right now. It's a little over 20 degrees here in North Carolina. And as you can see, I brought my whoopee out. I am good. I got some warmth in me now. This is the greatest equipment the military ever gave me. And it'll be buried with me when I'm finally put in the ground. So, but yeah, I think this is a very interesting time to be alive. And to address, I think, Red, you brought it up, in Europe, there is no collegiate system for underage players or people who aren't playing in like their A league. So they are going to play professional ball as a teenager. So I think there's a difference between Europe and the United States, where we do have a collegiate athletic system, whereas Europe does not. So I think it's a little different there. But, with Bediako, he's been out of school for 3 years. And now he's back. But we've got 3 other examples of this in playing college ball right now. James Ncaa, who plays at Baylor, he was drafted.
Yeah.
And ended up not sticking with this team, goes overseas, played in the summer league, and was granted the entire season's eligibility for this year. Thierry Darlin, who plays for Santa Clara, played 2 seasons in the G League, came back to Santa Clara. And London Johnson, who plays at Louisville, also played in the G League and now has been cleared to come back. I don't know if you guys remember when Charlie Baker, the current NCAA president, took his position. But he's a retired Air Force general. He's kind of a guy that, what I say goes. And this man knew what he was coming into. We just started the NIL era. What could we do to make sure this doesn't get out of hand? And Charlie Baker did nothing. He did nothing. He's like, you know what? We want players to earn because we don't want Congress to come down and say we're a monopoly and bust our chops. So we're just going to let it happen. And it's happened, right? Then the House v. NCAA thing comes down where it says you as a university can spend $25 million a year to pay all your athletes throughout all your athletic programs. And Charlie Baker sends out a memo being like, hey, member universities, can you sign this saying that you'll follow the rules? Not saying, hey, if you don't follow the rules, there's going to be repercussions. Just, can you guys please sign this so maybe we can follow the rules? And they don't. And now we have programs that are running like, oh yeah, we can pay them from the university 25 million, but what about all the other shit that we can get them, right? So keep in mind, hardly any schools have signed this memorandum. I think there's only like 6 that have signed it, and none of them are in the Power 4, right? They're all in the group of 6, So Charlie Baker has failed, and it's his failure that is allowing this whole eligibility thing to happen.
Is it a failure, though? Because it's an interesting concept that we have here now, where high school recruiting is going to matter a lot less, because there's a couple things happening right now across the country. Number one, there's an economics problem with the amount of money people are making juxtaposed to inflation, right? So we're going to see more people going to community college and vocational school. That's just what's going to happen. That's what's happening, which is going to be good for athletics to a certain degree, because you can pick people from community college, blah, 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 blah. But what Indiana kind of showed us is stars don't matter anymore, because you can get a no-star guy. Again, Cam Ward is a no-star high school athlete that was the first player chosen in the draft, and will at the very least have a 5-year career as a starter in the NFL, at the very least.
Yeah, and I think, that's a great point, though. It's high school recruiting still going to matter, because you still have to build depth, and the way to do that is the traditional recruiting methods. But when you want a quick infusion of talent, find the dude that's been playing for 3 or 4 years, and it doesn't matter what position at this point.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It
really
doesn't.
I mean, if you are just a good offensive lineman away, all right, I know it's going to take time for this unit to gel, but let me go grab 3 pretty good guys from the portal.
But think about this, like the last 2 quarterbacks we've seen go number 1. If Mendoza does indeed go number 1, and let's just say he's the consensus pick to go number 1, because it's a really bad quarterback draft.
Yeah.
That means that 2 guys that, had they come out when they were supposed to, would have either not gotten drafted or have been very late round picks. And that's Shedeur Sanders kind of way, but in a whole other kind of way.
Yeah, like you said about Mendoza, he put up okay numbers at a bad school. Ward started out at an FCS team. So yeah, I mean, but okay, that's a thing we can talk about in a few minutes, Red, because I agree with you on the amateurism and the student athlete thing. I think it's a joke, and it has been a joke for decades at this point. Honestly, it's been a joke for almost the entirety of Jason's life, and all the incompleted, entirety of my life. But the thing is, it's like, I don't care if a kid wants. I mean, there's a linebacker for Miami that's getting an 8th year of eligibility for next season.
Injuries?
2 knee reconstructions, the COVID year, and then a redshirt year. So, and then 3 years playing. Damn. And then he'll get this last year. I mean, at this point, he should be walking around with doctor in front of his name. But yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna shit on him.
Has he been in Miami the whole time, or he's been in a bunch of schools?
No. He played at Miami last year. Was actually a good player last year on their defense. But like, for me, I don't give a shit, man. If a kid wants to play in college until I can stop calling him a kid and he's officially doctor or dude,
You can rent a car in every state.
Yeah. When you see your car insurance drop.
Yeah, when these kids are, they've gotten kicked off. The Obamacare doesn't cover you anymore. That's how old you are. That is when the 2022 draft class juxtaposed to the 2023 draft class, or was it 2020, where it's like there were guys coming out a few years later, maybe it was 2023, where they were older than guys that were in the league for 3 or 4 years. I thought that was crazy when you think
Yeah,
about Trevor
I mean,
Lawrence,
dude,
guys like
look
that.
look at like Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like people forget he's like just turned 23, right? And you've got Mendoza who's like he's like I can't even be carried by my parents' insurance anymore. You know, like
Like,
actually I drove myself to the stadium this week. I went to Hertz and was able to rent a vehicle. You know.
this is where my whole I don't want to say conspiracy theory, but it is in the literal sense of conspiracy, in the very literal sense. What I was writing about with Shedeur Sanders when he was coming out was that he and his team understood value and the power that they had. And I think he was very frightening because I don't want to say flashy. I don't know the right word because I feel like any word I say is one of those
Oh,
dog whistle racist things. But
I think the word was prepped, right? Like
maybe that, yeah, he knew. Okay, this is how I see it. This is how I saw it. That team knew the power they possessed coming out of school. He wasn't Caleb Williams, but he was going to be a first round talent. And no, I do believe it only takes like 8 teams. It didn't take all 32. It only took about 8 teams to agree they weren't going to draft him in the first 3 or 4 rounds because a message had to be sent not only to him, but to people like Arch Manning. Now, the reason why I think Arch Manning is because regardless of the season that he had, because of the coach weary needy teams, the quarterback needy teams, and the atrocious class coming out this year, Manning could have had a lot of power, much like Sanders. And so you have to do. Look, we're willing to sit on first round talent and say no, just to show you where you will not run this like you do college. Let college be the Wild West, but not the NFL. And I think that's what you're seeing with basketball. Is that when you get drafted by a team and you go, I don't know if I want to play for you. That's crazy. That's power.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, it's everybody was bemoaning the effects of NIL on the football programs. You didn't hear it about basketball so much,
Nope.
right? And maybe it had to do with like roster size because collegiate basketball teams only they carry 17, only dress 11 or 12, right? So you got 5 dudes that rarely, if ever, see the court. And if they do, it's like garbage time minutes, probably an alumni's kid who walked on, that type of shit. But it's been kind of crazy in the last probably season or two. If we're talking player movement, a lot of big name guys have decided to just up. I mean, dude, the powerhouse programs of like Carolina, like here, they lost 3 guys to the portal. Dude, can you imagine 10 years ago if this thing hits? Nobody's leaving Carolina. You know what I mean? Like you'll sit for a year or 2, and then you're going to start being in contention to win a national title. You're going to have barn burners with Duke every year. But I mean, CBS Sportsline did this story called Ghost Teams, and it was like all the players that had left in the portal from your team and what they're doing on their new teams. Carolina lost a lot of dudes in double-digit scoring, double-digit rebounds.
Damn.
Yeah, and they're struggling this year. They're struggling bad. Like there's even talk of them shit canning Hubert Davis, their head coach. And if you know college basketball, Carolina doesn't really fire coaches.
Nope.
Like you get there and you retire essentially, except if you're Matt Doherty or Bill Davidson. Like those guys got canned, but Doherty gave way.
You can't lose though, too.
Yeah. Doherty gave way to Roy Williams. I don't think any Carolina fan's going to complain about that. And Davidson had a rough thing. He kind of had every card stacked against him because who did he replace? Dean fucking Smith. Like who? That's a rough one. But with cases like this, I mean, I don't know exactly how I feel about it, honestly. But when you're gone from school from 3 years, You know, like,
well, the NCAA says, and I quote, they're taking away opportunities from actual eligible young athletes coming up. But the bigger thing here is that these teams are seeing that age, strength, that's the difference maker. It's not the stars next to the kids.
can we all agree on this though? You can say that the NCAA can come out saying, well, these guys are taking roster spots from kids who've been on campus and need the opportunity. That's not what you pay your coaches for. Right? That's not why they're the football and the basketball coach are the two highest paid state employees in your state. You pay them to win games. That is what you pay them to do.
To play to win the game.
Playoffs? Are we talking playoffs?
That's very true.
That's what you get paid to do. And if I know as a head coach that there's like this gray area and I can bring in a big body because my post game sucks and I'm not getting enough offensive rebounds to recycle my offense so I can score more points. Hey, Bediako, how you doing, bro? Have you played any minutes in the last 2.5 years? You haven't.
He's on the bench now. He still can't play technically.
Well, he only had the temporary order for Saturday, right? So he played in Saturday's game. What we're going to see is how this unwinds itself in the courts, right? The 3 players I named have already been cleared for the season. Like their shit will not be adjudicated until the summer, right? Because 2 of those players still had, if they wanted to, could push for another year of eligibility.
Damn.
Right? So if either Bediako's case or these 2 other kids' cases go in the way of the player, that is going to blow up eligibility as we know it, right? I've always been of the mind that a kid shouldn't be held back from going back to campus if he puts his name in the draft and he doesn't hear it called, right? If you don't get drafted in the first 2 rounds, go back to school. Why should that be an issue? But they're like, no, he signed with an agent. So that means he's a professional now and he's not a student athlete anymore, right? Which I think is nonsense. If you declare for the draft and you don't hear your name called in those 60 picks, then you should be able to go back to school. That should not be an issue, right? It's just like with some of the younger kids that are like, I don't want to go to college. I'd rather just take my year that I have to be out of high school before I can go to the draft and go play overseas, right? I don't see any issue with that. I think that's a good, because I mean, dude, let's face it, whether, people are like, well, they're there playing basketball, they're not really in class. You kind of have to be if you want to stay eligible for that season, and let's face it, these seasons overlap semesters. So you're going to be in a whole one and the start of another, and you have to maintain eligibility, because that's the one thing the NCAA is cracking down, like has been cracking down on, is, academic eligibility. So Scott Bakula wasn't a young whippersnapper in Necessary Roughness. Nice, Virtuoso.
We're at
nice.
the Necessary Roughness water boy level of college athletics.
Oh, dude, we are. And the thing is, like I said, I don't know exactly how I feel about this, because like the old crotchety part of me is like, you're not in school anymore. You go sign that pro contract in the Philippines if you want to play basketball, and it's just like, and on the other part, it's just like, why not? It's not hurting anything. The minute that, and I've said it a million times, 1984 ended, amateurism and the student athlete with the OU v NCAA case, right? When they allowed schools to negotiate TV contracts to generate revenue, that's it. That whole thing goes out the window. Amateurism, right? At this point, these are not amateurs. You want them on the field so you can make money, right? They're drivers of revenue. I hate that it took so long for them to finally get a cut of it, but let's just be honest, the the first $1 billion contract for the March Madness tournament came in the mid 90s. So,
but would you say though, I get what you're saying and I don't disagree with it. Maybe I'll add this layer of complexity on top of it. Just because you are the driver of revenue in this capitalist system that we live in doesn't necessarily mean that you are not an amateur. So if I charge money for Little League that I have to watch a game, those kids aren't going to get a cut of it. But they are the drivers of revenue.
That's true. You know what? Let's give the kids a cut. Let's do it. Fuck it.
But I guess my bigger issue is
let them kids earn, Jason. Let them earn.
My bigger issue is how is this working in relationship with the way we see education in general? And it's not like this administration in office is the first administration to really kind of try to shit on higher ed. They've probably been the most vocal, but there is a mistrust in higher ed. And I think there was a comment that somebody put on the screen that colleges just exist for sports. And I don't believe that, because like tens of thousands of kids go to Central Florida.
Yeah. And I mean, NC Central is one of only 2 law schools in the entire state of North Carolina, like for public institutions, and that's a phenomenal law school, like
yeah, so they're not going
the thing. Yeah. The thing is about all this is when we attached athletics to universities and they weren't just like club teams anymore, we failed as a nation. We really did. And then we start attaching, hey, we can get you to go to school here. We'll even give you a scholarship. So you put an enticement to come and play sports at this, right? And then you allow it to become the business that it is, right? But we failed when we kind of started using this. I mean, you heard it growing up too. Well, the athletics add to the student experience. Even if you don't play for that school, what have you seen how crazy it gets in the Dean Dome? Have you been to the Horseshoe on a Saturday in Columbus? Have you don't want to be part of the 12th man, huh? You don't want to do that at Texas A&M. You don't want to see the Corps Cadets, all that fucking nonsense.
Look, I'm from a place where college sports is not that big of a deal in California. And I'm from the Bay too. So Cal and Stanford aren't the biggest college football town, college sports towns, even though they have good teams year to year. But I have been to Lincoln, Nebraska on a Saturday, and that was insane.
Yeah. We make it part of this experience for a regular student. I mean, and I firmly believe we need to detach the athletics from the university and let the university pursue what it's supposed to do, higher education.
I would push back against that and say you can have athletics in a university and have it be fun. It just
absolutely make it a club team.
But
so me and you are out there playing. Just you can hear our knees creaking, but we're out there. Jason's getting a degree in like music sciences. I'm struggling with my master's. And they're like, aren't you guys old to be out here? We're like, nah, bitch. And then we do something really good. And then all right, we're going to sub out real quick. We're behind like our folding chairs. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh, okay.
Took one hit, one light hit. And I was like, all right, that's it for me for the year. That sciatic is acting up.
Yeah.
But look, it's become part of the culture, but bigger than that, I think the way we look at higher education and the way we look at sports is such a joke.
Yeah.
And I think these two things are working in unison. I don't think it's bad. Kids are getting paid. It was bound to happen, but the way it's happening, it feels like dominoes are falling, and I don't exactly know how they're falling, but they're not falling into place. And
dude, the best way I heard it put it's Jenga. right?
Maybe Jenga's not yet. Like, not
Right. It's Jenga. Like, we're pulling out pieces. We're like, okay, this is NIL. This is the House of the NCAA settlement. So this block represents the $25 million from the university that's going to be paid out to athletes at that university. Right. And how they bust it up percentage wise is based on what the university wants to do. So roughly most schools are going to give 75 to 80% of that 25 million to the football team. Right. 20% will then go to the men's basketball team. Everything else will be split up amongst the rest of the sports. Right. Well, then we pull out this other block and it's like, oh, here's TV appearances where this guy can make more money. Right. And it's, oh, here's local deals that you can sign with, the local Toyota dealership. You're going to get a car out of it, dude. What? Yeah. And then it's just, you keep pulling blocks until the whole fucking thing falls. Right? Because you're absolutely right. This is the Wild West because Charlie Baker didn't step up and say, listen, I know you are all voluntary members of the NCAA. There's nothing keeping you here, but we should have some guidelines or some bumpers like on a bowling lane, so to speak, to ensure that we're all in compliance. I mean, can you imagine if we actually had some rules, Jason? This shit with Darian Mensah would never have happened. Right?
And that's the thing. There's no one wants rules. And this is why I think no one wants.
Oh no, there is somebody that does, and it's fucking Dabo Swinney, who swears to God Pete Golding is tampering with all those players.
People that lose want some, so they don't want to lose the way they've been losing. What I find interesting is the people that are calling for rules tend to be the people that left the sport probably how they feel prematurely. So I can't. Nick Saban, I feel like he feels like NIL took his glory. And he left.
What do you mean I can't sit on 5 stars for 3 years anymore? This is bullshit.
That's the thing. There's always going to be a way to stockpile talent. And there's a lot of things happening at once when it comes to major collegiate sports. Number one, you got a lot more kids coming out that hoop dream story about getting their parents out of the ghetto, out of a bad situation. That's not the case with the high level athletes. So at the high school level, and this is another thing that we need to put it all together into one thing. Don't just talk about college. You have to think about the incubator, which is prep schools.
Or high-end private schools.
That kind of sort of on purpose specialize.
Yeah, like was it Don Bosco?
Don Bosco, De La Salle,
St. Ignatius, right outside of Cleveland. There are 2 or 3 giant, like evangelical Christian schools in Texas that just take their pick from all the public schools in the entire state. Like it's getting to the point where you know how competitive Texas high school football is, and it's got multiple levels based on school size, right? They're getting ready to just make a division solely for these like super funded evangelical Christian schools, so they can get them out of playing public schools where they're drubbing them, probably with 2 or 3 kids.
But what's crazy about that? But you guys don't understand what Mac is saying. We're talking about like St. Louis in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Playing St. Ignatius, playing Mater Dei, playing De La Salle. That's kind of sort of what you're starting to see. And you have to ask yourself, how do these schools have the money to fly all over the country to play these games? But again, it's a bigger system that we're talking about where we're just kind of breeding athletes, because the end result is, and this is the uncomfortable question, and I don't have the answer to this. Maybe you guys watching or listening do. What happens when you just take this away and you go, we're just going to have some sort of, we'll call it amateur, we'll call it something. Maybe we'll even call it NCAA. We'll change the words. We'll keep the letters so you guys have that familiarity. And it's this other thing before you go to the pros, because what's happening at the pro level, 32 teams are not 100 and some colleges. So 32 teams can sit there and say, we will conspire to make sure you don't do that fuck shit here. because that's fucking with our money. We have a system, we really dig it, and we're willing to lose for multiple seasons before we let you fucktards ruin our bag.
Yeah.
So college, you guys figure your shit out. So what happens if that really happens, where the athletics are totally stripped from the university and it really becomes a venture capitalist paradise? Because there's something we haven't mentioned as well with football. Football is America's pastime.
Yes,
Hasn't
it
been
is.
baseball for a long time. The most watched programs over the last, I think, like 5 or 6 years, maybe even 10 years, are football games.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Super Bowl. So all eyes are on football. There's a reason why everybody wants to pay massive amounts of money for streaming services. That's why Tom Brady's getting some stupid amount of money to call games. It's because football is actually the only monocultural thing we have in this country.
Dude, and if you look at it too, Jason, there are stupidly rich billionaires that are taking losses to start up a European League of American football.
Yep.
Right? Because it's a growth industry. Look at the most valuable sports franchises on the planet. Where are they? The NFL.
The NFL. That's
right.
It sounds crazy to say, doesn't it?
Well, when you look at EPL teams and everything, yeah. Like how is it? Nepotism Corporate Athletic Association. I mean, dude, yeah, virtuoso, yeah.
Virtuoso.
I mean, virtuoso, we have to, we've talked about it a lot here, but this is something that is getting missed. When Jason and I talk about these high-powered, transcontinental high school programs, look at the players' names. You're going to see a lot of last names that you recognize. A lot of them, right? Because all these kids, their parents who are pro athletes or Olympic athletes, right? They all send their kids to these programs. And that's why you get schools like Don Bosco, Mater Dei, going on years-long win streaks, just dominating their high school division. And then constantly look at the U.S. Army Bowl, like the showcase for high school players at the end of the season. So many come from these private schools that are fully stocked with the progeny of professional athletes, right? It's not just a basketball thing anymore. This is this is football. This is baseball. This is hockey. It's just, unfortunately, this is how it's unfolding. And it's really, yeah. James Scott Oak Hill Academy is another huge one. There's a lot of them sprinkled throughout the United States, and I don't know the names of them all. I'm just going with the ones that I'm pretty familiar with. And we completely forgot IMG Academy.
The big one.
That's the biggest one. Like when Carl Dale Jones said, "I didn't come here to play school," which is kind of funny when you think about it, because at the time, this is Cardale Jones, the guy who went from third string to lift Ohio State to the national championship, but he also went back and got his degree and is working on his master's degree right now. So he's very much playing school. But when you don't want your kids to play school, they go to IMG, right? That's where they go. This is how we're going to see, fucking, I wouldn't call it nepotism, because these kids do work incredibly hard.
Yeah,
they really do. But we're seeing more and more of would you call them engineered athletes, Jason? Because it's like my NFL player dad, my NFL player dad and my NCAA basketball champion mom made me, and I am the
size, right? You can get size, but okay. Like I was listening to Christian McCaffrey talk about his father, Ed McCaffrey, who was not a Hall of Famer, but a very good pro, multiple Super Bowl champion pro with the Denver Broncos.
If there was such a thing, Ed McCaffrey would be in the Hall of Very Good.
Yes, he just had some years he bounced around a little bit, but Ed McCaffrey, very good player. But when his son came to him and said, "I think I want to play football," when he was 10, his dad knew what went into being a very good pro So much like Todd Marinovich, that's a whole nother story we won't get into.
Yeah.
He trained him from 10 about sleeping, exercise, eating before games, keeping yourself in shape, not injuring yourself. So you can't, like you said, you can't just inherit Steph Curry's ability to shoot a three. But when you're around your dad that can shoot pretty well and a bunch of pros, and you're learning at that intimate level with these people. Remember Larry Fitzgerald's dad, I believe, was a sports writer. So he was around athletes all the time, learning at a very intimate level where you're the little kid and they're like, you know what, make a window with your hands and then catch, why don't you take some with jugs machine, and this is how this play works, and this is what
Larry Fitzgerald at threes out there just over the shoulder from the jugs machine.
Like that's an advantage that your regular kid's not going to get, no matter how hard they work. And we talk about the high school level, then you got to talk about AAU, how that affects, even the junior high level. But, Drea asked a question. She said, can you explain a little bit more about monocultural event? I guess I'll try to extrapolate. When I say monocultural, I mean there's one thing that everybody is paying attention to. That's football. So in this country, all eyeballs aren't on TV shows, game shows. All eyes are kind of on football. There's a lot of money on it. Taylor Swift didn't hurt the game at all.
Yeah. At all. You just had a bunch of like Bud Light swilling white dudes that were like, I can't believe they keep showing her, but I can't look away. I love football.
Broad on the screen. Just show me the tight pants and men.
Yeah. I need to see some ass. But that's Taylor Swift. No, man ass. Come on.
Come on, man.
Let me see that man ass wrapped in them pants like a sausage.
Someone says, what? You're not watching Fallout?
Well, I mean, Reclaim, me and the kids do watch Fallout, but see, my kids are not part of that monoculture. They're like football.
Football is a multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry. And as Mac was saying, it's a growth industry. So when you look at things like valuations of teams, I believe I think the highest value team in the world is a football team.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys.
There you have it. So that's what I'm saying. Football right now is crazy value. Everybody wants to get their hands in it. That's why they're trying to get streaming involved and gambling involved. So football right now is where everybody's data is also going. And think about football like this. I heard this explained by Chuck Klosterman, who I pitched to his publicist, and they said no. So that made me sad. But he wrote a book about football, and he had said something on an interview, which is pretty interesting. He said a study was done by people that hate football that said that there's only 11 minutes of action in the game. But he goes, it's that 11 minutes that makes it the perfect game. There's tension in those 11 minutes before each play. You can talk about what's going to happen before each play. If you're a betting person now, you can bet on like every play. Like everything about football is kind of a perfect game for even casual people. So this is an interesting time with college athletics, with the way we're constructing high schools, because this is a show where we talk about class, and we have to admit that much like Europe, we're kind of constructing an athletic class. And what does that mean for the way we view sports in general?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we're developing this athletic class in such a way that it's getting to the point where only the wealthy will be able to be involved.
Oof.
This is the biggest difference between the United States and much of Europe and the rest of the world when it comes to like football, right? A lot of teams are still community owned. or still very centered in the community. So the developmental system is still community based. You know, so yeah, maybe your local EPL team, you know, like depending on where you live in London or the United Kingdom, maybe that's not what you would call local. You know, they have a lot of Saudi oil money pumped into many franchises, a lot of billionaire money pumped into many of those teams, and their developmental system is funded as such. But go lower down that English football pyramid, and you still have locally based developmental programs. We don't have that here in the States. What we have had pop up are these nation spanning powerhouses like St. Louis and Hawaii, you know, like Don Bosco Prep, like St. Ignatius, like someone brought up another academy, Oak Hills, right? These countries have a national pool, and they can make one phone call and a kid's moving across the country to go to this school and not play school. He's going there for athletics, right? So this is where we're hitting. We have a very hyper, very growing facet of, you know, like high school sport that is funneling kids that can afford it, you know, and putting them in positions where they can continue to play whatever sport it is that they do further on as they get older and maybe even professionally. Right. So there's the big difference between like America and a lot of the other nations of the world when it comes to sports development. We have really, really kind of privatized it, you know, because, you know, this is America, right? Like we have to be the best. We have to, you know, make exceptions for people of wealth so they don't have to mingle with us, you know, pros.
But isn't that what the average football game looks like at this point? I mean, whenever I see a fight in the stands, it's not really close to the field. It's definitely towards the top of the stadium.
Oh yeah, and
they stick her thumb up that guy's ass. That was totally
yeah. You know, it's all of us white trash that can't afford seats closer to the field.
I went to the game. You know, those tickets cost me $5 million. Where'd you sit? Oh, on the moon.
Yeah. Hey, you see the rafter up there? Yeah, I was like hanging off it. Okay, that's where.
Don't sneeze because you'll die.
Yeah. Yeah. And Virtuoso, believe it or not, there's actually an NFL bylaw. You cannot have community-owned teams anymore. They have to be owned by individuals. And now up to 10% of a franchise can be owned by private equity or venture capital. So, yay.
I didn't know that. I did not.
Yeah, Goodell just changed the ruling. Before it was 2%. Now it can be up to 10%.
Yeah, it's a scary time, in my opinion, for what's coming next, because I don't know what the next Jenga piece that gets pulled out, but if eligibility gets pulled out fully and it's just like they can go pro, then Fernando Mendoza is not going to the Raiders and no one will draft him. They'll be like, didn't you learn from Shador?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the thing is, the sad thing is as private equity starts getting its hooks into college sports, and it's going to happen. This isn't an if thing, it's a when thing. There's already been too much talk, you know, between the Big 12 and private equity about selling like a naming rights thing to the conference, to the Big 10 actually trying to get private equity investment into the conference itself. So again, thank you, University of Michigan. Thank you, University of Southern California, for throwing a fit over your cut, which scuttled the entire thing. Thank you. But it's going to happen, right? And when that happens, we're going to kind of see at the college level what we're starting to see at the pro level. And remember, when stadiums were being built mid to late 90s, early 2000s, they wanted big, right? They wanted 80,000 seats so they can fill a bunch of people into it. And then all the rich people can sit in the skyboxes. That's not what they want now. Stadiums are now getting smaller, right? And they're not going to lose money. they're just going to raise ticket prices. They want to make it an event for people that can't afford it. They don't want me and you and Drea and Red and Tony and Virtuoso at the games. That's not what they want. They don't want to see us there. They don't want to see us drinking enough beers to where we can start like a cup snake like they do for the DC Defenders in the UFL, right? They don't want that. What they want are, they want Taylor Swift sitting 4 rows up next to like Charlie XCX, next to Timothy Chalamet and whatever Kardashian sister he's dating at the time, right? That's who they want to show at the games. That's what Goodell wants. He wants people to see famous people at the games, right? And he can say, look at our league. This is the league people want to come to and watch games, right? And yes, Mr. Crash, you're exactly it. They are turning them into luxury experiences, right? And it's just going to be dickheads like us watching him on TV, really bitching out about it. Just leave the Irish guy out of the fun. I thought better of you, Mac. I don't like rum.
The rummus. I can't believe they're still calling you the rummus.
You know what? Mr. Crash, behave yourself, sir. Just behave yourself. But the thing is, well, I mean, Red, that is only a temporary thing. Because if baseball goes through a lockout again, they're going to lose even more market share. And you're going to see ticket prices go up to try and recoup the loss. And it's going to keep pushing us out, and they're going to have kind of the same business model. We have to remember all these guys, right? They all run in the same circles. They're all like at least acquaintances. They're all listening to how they market their teams and sell tickets. It's all the same ideas, right? And the thing is I'm not looking forward to the fact, because you guys know my kids don't like sports, but they like going. They like the game day experience. That's why I loved having the Woodpeckers here. But when private equity bought, when the Astros owner sold all his minor league teams to this private equity, Diamond Baseball Holdings, ticket prices went up 90% for single A baseball. What the fuck? The whole point of minor league baseball was to be affordable, and now they're starting to push people out of that.
Anywhere where you can find value. Here's the scary part. Anywhere where you can find value, take it, because the idea of community is kind of going the way of the dodo as well. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a show with Eric Blanc where he wrote a really interesting essay with Bhaskar Sankara, the guy that runs Jacobin magazine, about why the left shouldn't be too excited. Like, you should be excited about certain wins, or you should be excited about Zoran Mandami. But if you think about the history of socialist movements, they're entrenched in communities and the shop floor and in workplace unions and in community. And
what are we missing here in the U.S.?
Right. And New York is a very transient city, right? The union density is extremely low, but you still get this victory, this kind of surprising victory. So instead of like running a victory lap around it, we have to kind of pull back for a second and say, well, how do you entrench people in New York politics so you can continue to get these wins, so you can get these things that he campaigned on for in his platform? Because if you just voted for him and thinks he's just going to do it all with, Harry Potter like sorcery, that's not how these things work.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of the things that he wants to do are so unpopular with this mega rich city. So minor league sports, high school sports, college sports to a certain degree, these were communal events. And now with the movement of players, even at the low high school level, you're kind of eliminating a certain amount of community. If you can't afford to play sports, even at your school, it's alienation that we talk about all the time. It's almost like we don't really talk about this loss of community.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. When I played football, even neighbors you hated, where everybody was going to be Friday night. Everybody was down at the stadium, right? And then half the town came out Saturday morning for the JV game. it's just, especially looking at it from a leftist perspective, sports aren't big in the priority list of things we should be doing to build community, right? I, on the other hand, and I know you, on the other hand, see it as the exact opposite. This should be something we're leaning into to build community, right? And I'm not saying you you start a little league, right? And you just start handing out copies of the manifesto. don't don't do that yet. Okay. That could be something that the adults speak about when the kids are smashing juice boxes and like fruit roll-ups, right? Orange slices, whatever the hell. But sport is a very important community building tool.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And on top of that, it gives kids an outlet to just go and be kids. I firmly believe Little League should be something that kids enjoy. And if they like it, then they continue on and play in middle school and high school. But if not, you know what? Hey, you got to hang out with your friends, run around a little bit. It made my life easier because you were tired at the end of the day and you went to sleep without fighting me, So yeah.
That used to be a thing that you were kind of proud of if you play, even if you weren't a superstar. Like when I think of sports in the community, I think of, sadly, Frank Beam, Coach Beam, that died in Oakland, sadly.
Yeah.
Murdered. Very tragically. That whole event is tragic. We don't have to, relitigate it, but you talk about a person entrenched in the community that just helped kids.
Yeah. And that case in point right there, right? Coach Beam probably had an effect on thousands of kids, thousands over his career, and it was just him laying down life lessons while teaching you how to properly play the game of football,
making sure you went to class.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that. Stupid
making
shit
sure. Like that. Did you eat? No. Well, we got to fix that. Right. Oh, you're having trouble in this class? Well, then let's see what we can do. Right. And, the sad thing is communities miss out when they don't have kind of an anchor like that in it.
Yeah.
And we've, I don't know if it was Virtuoso or Red, but somebody said, we've kind of siloed ourselves off. We've kind of destroyed the idea of community in that larger social network, I guess. But it doesn't have to be that way, because this is a more recent development over the last probably 20 years. We can undo this. It's not going to happen overnight. I understand that, but we need to find something. And I'm not meaning to demean anybody. We need to find a way to get the community together outside of protesting. Protesting is important. I firmly believe that. But this should not, protesting something bad that happened as a reflex shouldn't be the only reason community is getting together and figuring things out. We should be doing things like that prior to, these things happening and us getting together to flex our strength as a community. It's just, we got a lot of work to do socially in this country.
Dude, that really is hitting home with me about the whole, we have to do more than protest, because it's a very reactive thing, and we shouldn't be able to get together. Like, even if you think about the Mondami win, that's pretty reactive, right? Like, you're reacting to Trump, you're reacting to Cuomo, you're reacting to Eric Adams.
You're just reacting to the state of the United States as we're living in it right now. Like, I get that. You're absolutely right. That was a reaction. That was like a reflex. Like, all this bad shit hit you in the knee and your leg popped up. Right. And I think that's important. Like, I was, is Zoran everything I want? No, but I'm not going to shit on him unless he really steps in it. You know what I mean? Like, he's a politician. I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. Like, I'm 40
in New York, right?
Yeah, that's very true. But I think this is a springboard for Zoran. I can see him doing like one term and then shooting for something bigger and then bigger.
Or he could just be the guy that kind of lights the way. We also have a socialist mayor in Seattle as well. You know, she didn't get the same kind of.
Yeah, and they also had ended up with a couple people from Socialist Alternative on their city council, I believe, in Seattle. On the city council there, excuse me. You know, so
we're seeing some stuff, but I guess my main thing is kind of what you were saying about community. It's when you think about like where I'm from, the Bay Area, where people it's transient like New York, and for a while it was like, well, we're going to move all our offices to Austin because it's cheaper, and all these people left Austin. They realized they fucking hate Austin because Austin isn't, you know, the weather changes there. It's extreme. It's really, really large. And then, you know, quite a few people have come back. But as far as like really forging a community, that's really hard to do in major urban areas as people are having to move just for like survival reasons as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I think that's the biggest issue is, one, we don't have a unionized workforce anymore. So you don't have like the union meetings, right? You don't have the infrastructure. Like as goofy as it sounds, Jason, you lived in fucking right outside of Oakland. How many times did you have like me being from Cleveland, we had like the Serbian cultural center get together and throw like whole ass festivals blocking off 2 roads.
Yeah.
You know, like, and everybody went. You know, they ate the weird Serbian food and watched the weird Serbian dancing and drank the good Serbian beer. And we all just had a fucking good time, right? Like, we don't have shit like that anymore. We don't have, you know, again, we don't have the sports shit because they underfunded the arts. You can't even go watch, you know, plays. You can't,
theater. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go watch shit.
Yeah.
You know, and bump into a neighbor who's like, Jesus Christ, Jason, I didn't know you wanted to come watch Swan Lake done by the 12-year-old from the middle school. I absolutely did, Jim. I really did. You know, like
local theater production of Brigadoon. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know, Jason, did you say this was the local production of Mulholland Drive? Yeah. I don't know how they're going to make a play out of that movie, but we're going to do it. You know,
I thought you were going to say Waiting for Godot, but okay.
Yeah. I wanted to get a little weird with it. I figured Mulholland Drive was a pretty weird fucking movie. I could have went with Memento too.
We've also lost third spaces, right? Like just places. I live somewhere where there's no library. So, you know, you go to cafes to work, and then the power was out downtown. And I walked in this cafe. I was going to get some work done. And I was like, can I just stay in here? And it's a different vibe here than it is in the States. And the girl's like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, it's so nice to be able to get stuff done in a third space.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think,
pay for it. You know,
you got to think in places like Oakland, Cleveland, Detroit. You know, when you look at the outer boroughs of New York City, industry left a lot of open space, right? A lot of giant buildings you could have got for dirt cheap back in like the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. What happens? Gentrification starts coming in, right? So you're seeing a lot of our old community spaces turned into like fucking condos and high-end apartments or WeWork spaces, right? Like shit like that.
The commodification of those spaces, yes.
Bingo, right? So we get chased out of our libraries and like the small cafes and the local community theater or like the local music scene. How many places have an actual local music scene now? Fayetteville had a great one when I first moved here. Now there is no live venue for music anymore here. You know,
it had a good one. What was it called? The something? You had Drunk something or no?
You had the Drunk Horse Pub.
Yes,
and you had the Rock Shop, right? And I bounced at the Rock Shop until, like, unfortunately, the Rock Shop, Sean Atkins, phenomenal, phenomenal guy who ran a great venue for live music, and he also hosted local art nights and things like that. When bands weren't in town, someone broke in, stole all his sound equipment, so he couldn't keep it open. You know, I mean, it just really fucking sucks, man. Because we need spaces like that to build the community and reclaimed. I know it's not grown, it's forged. You're absolutely right. But we need space to do that. Right. And if we don't have these third spaces to do that, it really makes it difficult.
You see, they're fighting over pickleball.
Yeah. Fucking
Everything
pickleball.
has to be a competitive space for commodification. And that's the scary part about parks, right? Like you're supposed to just go to the park and just go to the park.
Dude, I remember when the park was like a big open space, a playground for kids, and then a disc golf course. And you just smelled weed blowing in from the disc golf course at all times. But like, it was just something we did, right? And, you don't have disc golf courses anymore. Like a lot of these, open spaces that we had just to like chill out, the land was, it was too valuable to sit there and not have anything done to it. So let's just throw more rich people shit on it. I mean, it's like one of the biggest parks we had in Fayetteville got turned into a fucking golf course, and not even a public one. You have to be a member of a country club that's 12 miles away to play on this golf course. That used to be a public park.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yes.
And what does this all have to do with college football and eligibility? Everything.
Absolutely. I mean, it just, I think that's a great point though, Jason, is when we don't have these like third spaces, it makes it really difficult to work on those things. Right. Like technology was supposed to be this great liberating thing, and it's really turned out not to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like playing some gorgeous video games, right? But I would rather have, like a great local scene for music where I can meet people, and get to know them, and be a part of that community. Like, actually, dude, if I didn't have kids, Jason, I'd be living next door to you, because at least I have you there and I can come over and bother you when you're not housing 7-Eleven chorizo. Like it's.
I feel like if you lived out here, you would be knee deep in one of my neighbors. Age is not a number for you.
I mean, I'm 44, dude. So if they can vote and buy booze, that's
a low bar, man.
Dude, my bar is like buried right now. I'm so single. It's not even funny.
Oof.
And this woman is trouble. This woman is trouble. That is trouble. And that button is holding on for dear life. I can hear it from the picture.
I was this close.
If anybody has seen Captain America Winter Soldier, when Chris Evans is holding on to the helicopter skid and he's got the other arm holding on to the landing and he's just struggling, that's that button right now. That is that button.
Prairie said, Jason, age is nothing but a number, but give me that woman's number.
Yeah. Prairie's like, that's going to get me through some many, many, many cold Nebraska winters.
I'm trying to be serious because we're supposed to wrap. We're gonna wrap on time. We're gonna wrap on time today. I promise.
I mean, we did a good job today. We did a good job of staying on topic, and then we talked about some other serious stuff. So I know you need to get out of your system. You got to show some stuff before we go.
I saved these I've been saving these for you. I'm making a promise. I'm making a promise to you, Macadocious. I almost said your real name. I'm not going to say your whole name on the air. That after tonight.
Well, Jason, before you go on, everybody knows my real fucking name. I've been in the Washington Post. I was on a fucking documentary, and I am not a quiet man. So at this point, everybody knows my name. Everybody. I applied for a job, and they were like, "Are you the guy from the TV?" for the PBS.
You were the guy.
Yeah, because I did a PBS documentary.
Yeah.
And I said the only thing fascists are good for is being punched in the face. And I had to switch to that because I originally said they're only good for target practice. And they're like, we can't put that in the documentary. It's on PBS, dude. So the guy was like, are you the guy that said fascists are only good for punching in the face? And I was like, yes, I absolutely am. And the guy was like, you know what? You're right, but we cannot hire you.
Aww.
You know, and I was like, okay, fair. Yes, Red Dogra book club is on for tomorrow. I'll get the link to Drea and everybody else. I'll put it in the Discord. You can pass it out to anybody else that might be interested. We're only going to be able to go for an hour because like I told Jason, we have snow coming in to North Carolina. And if you lived in the South and there's a threat of snow, people freak out. So I have to essentially help build temporary shelter for $1.6 million worth of Corvettes and salt the entire lot and ensure that nothing has built up on the windshields or back windshields of every car. So I will be at work early and staying late for probably the next 3 days. So, but we'll get chapter 2 of A People's Guide knocked out tomorrow. So Tony, you have to be on your best behavior tomorrow. You can go into rants, but they have to be limited to 2 minutes.
Get an egg timer.
Yeah, just
like this. All right, Tony.
Yeah, good job, Tony. I can see you're still going. I had to mute you. Sorry. You know,
you're gonna do them like Amy Goodman. You have 20 seconds.
Yeah. I'm like a debate moderator, sir, Tony, sir. You had 60 seconds, and your 60 seconds is up. You know,
to play them off. I found video of Bad Joey, and this is basically his origin story of why he came on the show. So I found it and I'm sharing it with you guys. This is Bad Joey's origin story.
I don't have any words. Does that mean you thought it was good?
Lost for words. I'm a little pissed off right now, that's all.
Oh, okay. Why?
I just didn't think, maybe I didn't think this out too well.
Oh, you didn't think it out too well? Okay, well, I know you guys came here to, you know, kind of spice up your life a little bit and try a different experience. Would you say that this helped you guys spice it up? Do you think it's going to be like better from now on?
Not for me. Too spicy.
We talked about this. You said it was okay.
I just feel really uncomfortable right now. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
What about it made you uncomfortable?
The whole entire thing.
Okay.
I just sat through and watched. I don't even want to get into it.
You watched till the end?
Oh gosh. Well, earlier, Joey, you said that you were very confident with yourself and, you know, you really didn't have anything to worry about. You guys have a solid relationship and, you know, have a good future together. Do you still feel that way, or it kind of looks like you know, your vibe changed?
It's just it's a weird thing. I just didn't think it was going to be this way. And we got some things we need to talk about at this point. And just kind of livid right now, that's all.
Oh, okay. Well, she did rate Derek a 10 today in the bedroom. And he also rated her a 10. So Joey, I wanted to ask, what do you usually rate her in your relationship in the bedroom on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, usually I'd rate her a 10, but in this situation now, I'm just dropping down to a 5 because I just don't feel right now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's okay. She rated you a 3.
No, easy.
Oh, yeah.
When he said the name Joey, I was like,
Okay, so that's funny in itself. But riddle me this, my friend. You've been married. You've been in committed relationships.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, one night you're laying in bed, you can't sleep. Your wife's next to you sleeping soundly, and you're like, you know what? Before she rolled over and went to sleep, I thought we were having some passionate love making, but she didn't seem into it. Maybe we have to spice things up. You know what I'm going to do? You know what we're going to do? We're going to go on the bang bus. And that should spice things up. Have you ever done that?
No, I never thought. You know what'll make this relationship better? Some guy with the thickest penis
and a 6-pack. Yeah.
Everything I'm not, just fucking the shit out of my wife and then having her look at me and be like, this is so magical. Like she's looking at me like a child on Christmas that got Disneyland as their present. Like that's not how you want someone to look at you while they're getting dicked down by some dude, and that dude is putting her in these weird contortionist like positions because he's got so much dick that he can hit it from like distances that you couldn't really. You had to get it on a phone book, all kind of shit.
He's fucking Steph Curry over here, just like you know.
The curve of his shit is like
rainbow
threes.
You know. He's hitting from like 36 feet, just easy.
That's not.
I never thought that would be the fix to my relationship. And then I'd like to know, was he present on the bus? Watching?
Someone called it post-cuck clarity.
Oh no.
Oh my God. I saw this, and when she was like, Joey, I was like, because I was watching it and I was like, this is Joey's origin story. She goes, well, Joey, and I was like, oh fuck me.
Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't have been surprised if he had a Notre Dame shirt on.
If he had a Notre Dame shirt on. He is kind of wearing Notre Dame colors.
You know, I mean, I can't imagine that. Like, he's obviously an older dude with a much younger woman who, again, you don't try and solve your bedroom problems by saying, let me insert a dude who is everything I'm not into the situation. Especially when he throws out, well, she did say you were a 3. Like, oh.
Someone responded, he's about to be the deadliest ICE agent. I was like, oof.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Bad Joey was an ICE agent.
Ooh. He seems like the kind of guy that would have that job.
Yeah. He's the guy that says, yeah, I didn't join the military because I would have punched my drill sergeant in the face.
I also have to play this every so often because we have to remember who Anne Hathaway is.
How do you feel? Up as a nigga in a cash game, living in the fast lane now for real.
You better go get it, dog.
How do you want it? How do you feel? Up as a nigga in a cash game, living in the fast lane now for real.
Did she get the clearance from the black delegation to just freely use that?
First of all, anyone singing a theater version of that song in a room full of hood dudes is probably going to get laughed out of the room.
Yeah, most likely.
I've never seen a person that looked like that in that kind of environment. People would be like, damn, Ann can really sing. Like, no, they'd be like, bitch.
You know what? Put the cup down and get the fuck out, right? Like, just
Reclaim said, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Dr. Claus says, I turned around in my seat. Just brought an N-word visa.
I mean, Trump's selling them now, so I guess you can get them. She's got the money to buy one.
Oh my God.
Listen, I've got a brand new product. We're going to be selling them. $5 million. Get yourself an N-word visa. Stephen Miller's in the back like, what?
So did you see the ex-military guy? He's an ex-Marine, by the way, going crazy on Latin kids in San Diego at the Target.
Oh yeah, I watched that right before I took my kid to karate tonight. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I took my kid to karate. First of all, that kid's haircut is hilarious.
Look at you. Nobody's illegal. That guy's illegal. Nobody's illegal. Nobody's illegal. Nobody's illegal. You won't hit me first. You won't fucking do it. You won't fucking do it.
Hey, kiss him, bro.
You won't do it now. You won't do it now.
Hey, kiss him, bro.
You won't do it now, will you? You won't do it now, will you? You won't do it now, will you?
I love this Prince Valiant / Edgar kid right here. He's my favorite.
Just rocking his Crocs too.
Yeah.
Chilling.
The target this we'll watch the realization of what's going on. So this man is in San Diego, which has a high population of brown skinned people, and these
But it
young
is German. San Diego is German for a whale.
whale's vagina. I think that guy thought that was the case. And you see there's a couple white guys here, and they're all in line, but this guy is assuming that they're just illegals looking for work, even these two white people. So watch this.
He needs
to be arrested, this guy. He needs to be arrested.
Manny, you want to do it right now, will you?
That's fucked up, yo.
You want to do it now, will you?
man. Just chill.
You want to do it now?
Go do something, bro.
Wait for them to pull up there. Hey, don't chat. Yeah.
Like the fuck up, pussy.
You touch me,
This guy's a maniac.
You touch me. I'm gonna harass whoever the fuck I want. You just what the fuck are you saying, bro? What are you saying? Yeah, stand there. No, who? I'm gonna call Richter.
Bro, you can't park there, pussy. That's a handicap. That's a handicap. Coming up on these people.
I didn't harass anybody. These
Calling
people
them fucking illegals.
If you can't hear him, he said these people are standing out here loitering, and then watch what they say.
They're not loitering.
call
They're
ICE.
waiting for fucking product to buy.
Pokemon cards, you
They're
fucking.
waiting.
Well, then go on and buy their fucking product.
We have to wait. Why do you think there's a line, you idiot?
So ever since the iPhone, a lot of people figured, or companies figured, if you create a demand by making people wait, so tennis shoes are the same thing, right? Like make people get a number to stand in line, to get the shoes. Like it's a whole thing that you have to do to make people go, what's everybody in line for?
Bro, I did it for when Star Wars Episode 1 came out.
It's a thing that you do. You stand in line, so you people, what's the line for? This guy just saw a line of Latin people and started being a douche.
Yeah, with a sprinkling of some very pasty white folks, and did not put two and two together. Like, wait a minute. Why is that albino fellow standing out here too? I'm not albino. I'm just really, really white.
And even people coming outside like, what the fuck is this asshole's problem? Because everyone knows those kids are waiting for the Pokemon cards.
I'm not surprised this dude's a Marine, because he probably got disability plates or a placard because he's on like VA disability. But you notice he's still walking around like a fucking douche. I hate guys like that. It's like, bro, I get it. You technically can get one. That doesn't mean you should get one. You lazy fuck. Park in the back like the rest of us and walk your ass to the door.
Yeah, and also, like, why do you give a shit why these kids are outside?
Yeah, dude, if they want I'll tell you what, I'll take a kid waiting in line for Pokemon cards rather than, like, I don't know, filing a serial number off a gun.
There's it's just one of those things where you're like, maybe this is the kind of shit that I do. If I saw, what's with the line? Oh, waiting for Pokemon cards. Oh, word? And then that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah. Hey, I hope you get what you're looking for, man. I know it's luck of the draw.
Yeah,
or
maybe I ask them. Maybe the follow up is like, what is it? Are you waiting for a specific one? Like, I might be interested in that, but I'm not going to assume that they're all waiting there to fuck with me.
My daughter was like, Dad, can I borrow your keys? And I was like, what are we doing? And she goes, well, I want to go to the secondhand store and look for some shorts and a hoodie. Okay. You know what? And the thing is, my daughter is such a fucking nerd. She goes thrifting so she can make her own clothes. Okay. Right? I'm not worried about it. I don't question it. Like if she said, Dad, I'm going to go stand in line with a bunch of nerds and get some Pokemon cards. All right, kid, have fun. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there is no angrier group on the planet than a group of nerds that has somebody insert themselves and be an asshole into the nerd group. If you want to watch a bunch of people talking about Charizard become like John Wick, go ahead and do this shit. You know, because they will turn on you. Oh, you talk shit to me, fine, but now you're talking shit to other people in the Pokemon nerd group. We got you. And then they just start fucking throat chopping. You know, they're coming out of left field. Do not fuck with large groups of nerds. Do not do that.
It's one of those things where this is his response when he finally finds out, because the target people don't want to deal with, like, no one wants to. If you've worked customer service, you don't want to deal with this guy.
No, because you see him at least 3 times a day. You really do.
And he did this thing because he's a fucking idiot. They're like, leave the property. So he stands still on their properties in the parking lot. But he's like on the street part of it, the street part. And he's like, I'm not on your property. I can do whatever I want right here. And they're like, nah, man, you got to leave. You're still like, why do you think we don't own the parking lot?
Yeah,
signs all over the place. You idiot. But anyway, watch when he finds out what it's about.
Idiot.
Fucking Pokemon bitches.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
See, I told you. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. Off camera, there's a dude like stretching out right now. He's like, I'm a Superman punch this bitch. Just
like, that's what's so funny about this shit, dude. Like they're like, they're waiting for Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Pokemon bitches. Okay. Then leave them alone.
Yeah. And especially considering there's like 20 of them out there, dude. Have you ever been stomped by 18 pairs of Crocs? No.
Are you really trying to get stomped out by Mexican Prince Valiant?
Yeah. You know, like bunch of fucking knuckleheads, dude.
Like what? Like what? And you know, the internet did that thing where they found out who the guy was, and you know, all that bullshit. This is the new ad.
ICE is providing new torta incentives, and you will now get a weekly hot Cheetos stipend and DoorDash credits. If you're a torta that got cheated on before, here is your opportunity to go after your exes and their family members.
Wow. Wow. Zahir said switching the Crocs to curb stomping mode. Like he puts him in a sport mode, you just see this giant block of concrete like forming the heel. You're just like, what the fuck?
In the curb stomping mode. Oh my god. Yes, Dre, this is AI. It is not real. There's not that, but there are some people who've been calling out the tortoise working for ICE. It's a real thing. But it's late. It's very late. And Max said that we had to go, so we couldn't stay late.
You can do one more. You can do one more, so make it good.
Okay. This is pretty good.
Surprised at how many people will argue right here in your face. And when they do, if you can get a hand right here, you got good clean uppercuts and elbows. You got follow-through elbows. If your hands are hanging by your side, this is natural. You don't have to get way down here to hit a guy in the jimmy. All right, you just stand here like this. Your hands are right there. You can either flip him, which will cause him to buckle or react and get you set in for an elbow shot and maybe a front headlock, or turn your palm straight up. One of the ways I like to hit the groin is to turn my palm up, just like this, and just hit, just like that. When you hit, they're going to bend, and then you run straight up into their head and rip and turn and tear their head around. This is simple. You can go into the chin, you can go into the eyes, or you can come into the neck and trach him right in there. And remember, this windpipe is a lethal blow. Boom! Get a shot here. They bend up into their throat, grab and twist, turn. And if you want, you can add another headbutt in here.
You get your hands on his balls, get real good and deep in there so you can really smell him, and then put your hand in his face.
What I like to do is get my hand like this, and I go right for the jimmy. And I just see, I'm beating his jimmy.
Your assailant before you masturbate him into submission, and right before he comes, bam! That's what he's vulnerable. He's about to come. He's vulnerable.
He's not focused on you. See, his eyes are going in the back of his head. When you see the O face, that's when you know. Bam!
Like, jerk me off. I'll show you. Jerk me off. Just go ahead and grab it. Just go on and grab it. It's fine. Spit on it first.
Steve.
A little bit.
Look. I'm already hard. Let's go. You know.
you can just backhand his dickhead like it's a pestilent child, and you're a sassy dame from a 40s movie. That's how you take, like, oh no, and then do that with an accent on the oh no, and then bam, right in his dickhead, and flip it around and like a whirly dervish.
I love how he says a ball tap is going to like incapacitate you to the point where you completely bend over. And at that point, I'll be able to get his neck, his eyes, his nose, whatever you got to do, man. All right. Now, you see this handlebar mustache? This prevents people from getting a good grip around my mouth. So you can't do that to me. And on top of that, I got a boner. So go ahead and ball tap me. I'm protected.
I saw this. I was like, this guy. So you can stick your hand in his eyes, in his mouth. You stick it in his ass. Go ahead. Sometimes they don't know they like it.
I mean, you don't know what you don't like until you try it. So
once you get it in there good, then rub it across his face like.
They call it the Charlie Chaplin.
Coach Luke says if you give him a prostate orgasm, he's completely incapacitated.
Now, a lot of people have sent me letters asking me, how do I maintain a good defense? Well, I stay fully erect at all times. If you want to completely disarm your opponent, what you do is you walk up in these tight jeans. Maybe you even peg him and let him at the bottom, get a couple rolls in there, make him real tight around your Jimmy like. And when he comes up to you all angry, you just pelvis out. Let him know, hey, rock hard, let's go.
You don't want none of me none. You don't want none of me none. You don't want it. You don't want none of me none.
Oh, man.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Wait, you can't go. This is the most evil play I've ever seen. All right. Right. Bitch.
Oh, no. Not the pelvic thrust to the face mask.
We have to fight after the game.
Yeah, I think, Jason, that'd probably fire you up a little bit. Be like, Coach, I'm going to beat his ass. Jason Miles, why? Did you not see he poked his dick through my face mask?
He dick defends me, Coach. What's next? Dick tap to a whirly dervish?
He's fully erect. He watched that video with the guy with the handlebar mustache.
He didn't have a handlebar mustache defense technique, man. Thrusting you in the face in a football game. My girlfriend's here. My Meemaw came to this game.
You hear Meemaw in the stands. Oh, no, baby.
I think he's gay now.
Might want to send him to camp.
So that's your evening with TIR. Matt, go to sleep.
Can you just the audacity, my friend? If that would have happened to me, I'm getting suspended the rest of the year.
You have to fight.
Yes.
You have to fight.
Yes. Like, because he didn't just, it wasn't like he immediately did it. He stood there for like a second or two and then was like, all right,
He looked at him, he was like, bask in it. And it's like,
it's majestic, isn't it? Just
game blouses.
Yeah.
So fucking evil. Don't go. Look, we always have good advice for you at the end of the show. So don't listen to those self-defense techniques. Don't walk up on somebody and then try to give them a sassy slap to the dickhead.
Don't.
Not going to work out real well for you.
And if somebody actually is hard, don't fight them. Don't. Whatever you do, there's something mentally unstable about that person that they're like, oh, let's fight. And you just see a boner. No, just, you know what? I'm good. You win.
You win.
You win.
All right, ball game. Can I buy you not buy you a drink? Can I just leave?
Yeah, I'm really uncomfortable. Actually, bouncer, can you escort me out, please? Just call it a night.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for hanging out with us, and I hope you appreciate what we did for the show. And Mac, have a very good evening, and I hope your morning is filled with endless hand warmers.
Oh gosh, dude, I just bought a nice pair of gloves, so I'm going to be layered up. I'm going to be ready to go, and I will be just angry at the Corvettes because it's like, why do I have to do all this for these cars?
Why?
Why?
Here, then watch this.
What the fuck?
Schatz.
Jetzt nicht.
Oh God!
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one. We are out.